The OnBase Patient Window is a clinical viewing platform designed with input from some of our nursing and physician advisors. It enables users to interact with a patient's medical records seamlessly and efficiently by integrating directly with the EMR. So let's take a look at how to use Patient Window as a clinical user. Here we are in the Media tab within our sample EMR. And while you can see that we have a list of scans linked to this patient, many of our customers reported that it was difficult to navigate through this tab in their EMR to locate the correct content. That's where the OnBase Patient Window comes into play. Patient Window provides a complete view of the patient's record and the associated content that exists in OnBase for that patient. The OnBase Patient Window can be launched by clicking a button within the EMR, which will either launch it embedded into their workspace, or we can launch it as a standalone. Here I have Patient Window launched as a standalone from the EMR for greater screen real estate. As I navigate through the different panes you see here, the important thing to note is that OnBase Patient Window's goal is to push content to the clinician in order to eliminate the number of total clicks possible. First, we have our system-wide tabs, indicated by the blue here, but they're customized to each organization, so these tabs may look a little different than what you might see in your organization's solution. And because these are system-wide tabs, they will appear across every patient, things like consent, digital photos, and so on. Now, the tab where we started by default, which is indicated by the green bar, is called the Personal tab. This is the tab where I, as a user, can flag what I want to see when I log into any patient's record. To change your Personal tabs, simply click on the bar in the top left corner, jump into Options, and it will take you into your Personal tab configuration, where you can add and remove document types, which will reflect what you want to see. The checkbox you see at the bottom here, which states to limit the new tab to the selected Personal tab document types, means that anything we see on the new tab is only documents that I have selected in this list here. The new tab is anything that's brought into the patient's record since the last time I viewed it as a clinician. You may have noticed that this tab was displayed in a list view, where the Personal tab was displaying in a thumbnail view. That is a per tab setting that we can toggle between by clicking on the icons at the top left for list view and thumbnail. OnBase will remember how you set it, so again, I have left this as thumbnail, and if we switch over to the new tab, it's a list view. And even if I click away from this tab, when I return to it, you'll see it remembered the view as I set it. Now, the other type of unique tab in addition to the Personal tab and the new tab is what we call case containers. Here we have a case container for a knee replacement. Let's say I'm monitoring a patient's progress of a recent knee replacement. Every time content comes into OnBase that I want to flag and have saved to this tab that I've created, I can simply select the document, click on the Add to Case button in the upper left-hand corner, and then choose the case that I want to add it to. It will notify me that I successfully added the document to the case, and now when I jump over to the knee replacement tab, I can see that image that I just added. If you want to create a case on the fly, that can be done by selecting Add Case in the lower left-hand corner. There, I can name the case and select whether or not it should be public, meaning, do other clinicians need to see this information? This patient may be part of a research study, so it would make sense for other clinicians to see this when they log in. Or maybe this is information that only I would be interested in, where I would uncheck the box in that case. Finally, I can choose which color I'd like the case to be. Once I save it, I now will have a blank tab. But again, I can add documents by jumping to other tabs, selecting what I need, and then adding it to the case by selecting the plus case icon. There are also viewing controls which we can use within the patient window to monitor content a little bit better. So let's say I want to compare wound photos over time. I can select multiple images by holding down the Shift key and selecting each image. Then I can open them up in the multi-document view as you see here. So I can scroll side by side to take a look at the progress over time. We can also integrate into many different enterprise medical imaging viewers, including our own nil-read viewer. Here I have a surgery video that's stored in my organization's VNA, which Patient Window is viewing through nil-read. I can also do the same thing with medical images like MRIs, CTs. Virtually anything that lives out in your VNA can be integrated into the OnBase Patient Window through a medical imaging viewer like nil-read. And jumping back to the tab view, I can close the document here. Now we have all this valuable metadata that's indexed across documents, and we can leverage that in the patient window when you want to filter down to find your content. That can be done by filtering on any of the values, such as encounter number, facility, departments, and so on. We can also save different values, So if there are specific document types that I search for all the time, I can save my filter, again naming it to whatever naming convention makes sense to me, and deciding whether or not this filter should be public if I think it would benefit other users as well, noting that this would be a public filter for every patient. Or, if I've already saved filter criteria, I can apply it by choosing the Load Saved Filter drop-down in the top left corner. So I can either load previously saved filters, or in real time I can choose specific document types I'm interested in seeing and apply the filter across the tabs. I can clear an individual piece of the filter criteria, or I can clear them all by clicking within the breadcrumb trail at the top. In addition to filtering on metadata, we can also use this to filter on specific values that you're looking for. For instance, if I want to search for a specific value that's in my external results, I can type in a full text search, apply it across my documents, and it will return the list of documents that contain that value in it. As soon as I open that image, it's going to highlight the exact spot in the document and take me right to the location where it found that value. In addition to the filter view here, it may make more sense to view your documents in a timeline mode. We can switch to the timeline mode by selecting the clock icon here, and it's going to take you into a view of all the content that exists for this patient and when it was brought in based on which date has been flagged as clinically relevant in your OnBase system. Now, OnBase Patient Window supports the use of clinically relevant dates to place documents on a timeline. You can configure how OnBase assigns clinically relevant dates for each medical record document type. For example, you might want lab tests to use the sample date, while discharge summaries might use the discharge date. Each document type can have an ordered list of clinically relevant dates. This way, if a document does not have a value for the first date in the list, OnBase can attempt to assign the document to the second date in the list. Here I have a quick view as to when documents were brought in for this patient in 2017 and 2018. Maybe this is your preferred working mode. If so, you can leave the patient window in this mode when you close it, and when you reopen it on the next patient, it's going to remember the view you had last selected. You can scroll into the view by clicking the plus button here and diving deeper into a monthly, a weekly, all the way into a specific day view. We can also select Zoom to Fit if you want to view all the documents rather than just the recent documents on the timeline. From here, you can dive into a document in the viewer, or you can simply jump back over to the timeline mode by closing the view. If you want to switch back to the filter mode, you can collapse the timeline mode here, and it will take you back to whichever tab you were last on. Hopefully, after taking a look at these simple steps, you'll be ready to navigate the OnBase Patient Window in your solution. For more information, check out the OnBase Patient Window Module Reference Guide. Thanks for watching.